Live.
Just as we promised in the election.
Chancellor's address, latest market move.
Plans for energy security and
West Midlands.
For incentivising investments in Britain.
Carnage, chaos, UK 2025.
And ensure that jobs and investment remain in Britain. We are already providing £2.3 billion to support
the market's dropped 5% in the FTSE 100 today, my darling.
On top of the tax breaks that are worth hundreds of millions of pounds each year.
The markets are dropping in America because of the tariffs that Donald Trump's brought around the world globally. We're going to a global recession.
We are going further with new measures to support car manufacturers decarbonise in a way that is sustainable and good for jobs in Britain.
I'm not damaging the road as cars are. That's why there's more potholes on the roads. It's because of these new electric hydro cars. It's too heavy for the roads. The structure's not designed for those cars.
Government,
not enough for
trade unions working in partnership.
Not enough.
Building resilience
thinking.
By safeguarding jobs and
not enough
here in Britain.
infrastructure planning ahead.
On new opportunities in the global economy.
What do you think? Give me a thumbs up the right side screen. Let me know in the comment below.
Delivering prosperity
Have they lost their plots? Has she lost the plot? Yeah, I think so.
It is an offer that we must achieve together in our national interest. And to say
so look at the market though. As she's talking, it's getting worse and worse. She's making it worse for our country. Yeah, he's the Prime Minister of England. But you could call him the MBO if you want to, next to King Charles of England. And call him the MBO if you want to. I'll call him the MBO. Or CBO, yeah, CBO, whatever you're going to call him.
This afternoon, and I just want to say thank you for showing us what you do. We've been able to see some of the skill and experience that you
bring for cars.
Incredible product.
That's what my dad used to work for them.
But thank you also for making us proud to be British, because as each car rolls off here, that is rolling off your production line, that is your commitment, that is your toil, your work, your professionalism, but it is then a product which you should be rightly proud of, and we're really proud of as a country, and none of that is easy. So thank you to each and every one of
the whole thing's a joke.
Faces, including those behind me, because I know just how much you put into that, and I want you to know just how much we appreciate what you do and how
5% down in the FTSE 100.
Thank you for that. Thank you for joining us.
Awful market readings at the moment.
Jaguar Land Rover,
Donald Trump's chaos around the world globally.
Thousands of people across the West Midlands and beyond, including here, that proud symbol of British engineering brilliance. And brilliance is the right word. When you look at what is rolling off here, that is engineering brilliance. It is our industrial heritage, but also, in my strongly held view, it is our industrial future, not just our heritage. And my message to you, Rachel, and my message to you today is simple. These are challenging times, but we have chosen to come here because we are going to back you to the hilt. And I think it's really significant that after the announcement on Wednesday, we had Adrian with us at 7 o'clock the next morning, and here we are Monday with you.
Yes, we should be more environment friendly to the planet. I do agree on that. But these hydro cars and these electric cars, Teslas, are not the solution.
For you, for us.
They're not quite ready yet. They're not there yet.
As Rachel has said, there's no.
I call it F for failure.
But this is a.
You can't rush things.
Nobody wins from a trade war. You know that. But it's also.
You can't make everyone cycle and walk. Not everyone can master the cycling, let alone walking long distances. They don't have health problems.
So the great challenge of our age, and it is the great challenge, which is to renew Britain, so we're secure in this era.
Sorry to say that England is actually getting poorer every year. UK, the nation is getting poorer. We're going to recession for the next 4 years. We're getting poorer. So don't lie to Westminster Prime Minister Keir Starmer. We're getting poorer. That's my opinion. I'm pretty sure about that myself. I'm pretty sure I'm right.
For our future. And the global economic consequences could be profound.
It all started with Boris Johnson to Liz Truss. That's when it all going downhill, mate, my friends.
Very clear.
And it'll keep going downhill.
This is not a passing phase. And just as we've seen with our national security and defence, particularly over recent months in relation to the war in Ukraine, now with our commerce and trade, this is a changing and completely new world, an era where old
Uncertainty, more likely,
long taken for granted simply don't apply any longer. Now, before the election, I called it an age of insecurity. And that is the right phrase, insecurity. Because I know that that's how it's felt in the lives of working people. Insecurity, a care, a worry for builders, for carers, for nurses, factory workers like people here, working harder and harder for the pound in their pocket, yet watching this rising tide of insecurity threaten to sweep away the things that we cherish in our communities. Trust me, I know people will be feeling like that right now. But to those people I say, we have your back. This government will not just sit back and hope. That is how politics has failed you in recent years.
Excuse me, it's still failing us right now.
Without fundamental change,
Liar.
just leads to
Liar.
decline. So no,
You can't trust any of these politicians, all the same.
Fight for the future on defence spending, on AI, clean British energy, and on manufacturing, including car building. Make those forces work for Britain. Rewire our economy and our state so that once again they serve the interests of working people. And that is why we're rewiring the state completely. Ripping up
Well, those workers you promised. Well, you lie all the time.
Building new homes, new towns, new infrastructure. Accelerating the investment that will finally unlock the potential.
No one wants to work in a cemetery. No one wants to do
a
job on the farm. There's no incentive. Sorry.
In our hands. And so, of course, we will keep calm.
More people go on benefits every day.
The best deal with the
So
US, and
you've lost my confidence already.
Intensely over the last few days.
Because they're ill and sick.
But we are also going to work with our key partners to reduce barriers to trade across the globe, to accelerate trade deals with the rest of the world, and champion the cause of free and open trade right across the globe. Now, just like car building, that's always been our heritage, and we're not going to turn our backs on it now. And look, when it comes to the US, I will only strike a deal if it's in our national interest, if it's the right thing to do for our security, if it protects the pounds in the pocket that working people across the country work so hard to earn for their family. That is my priority. That is always my priority. Strength abroad, security and renewal at home. And on that journey of renewal, we take another step today with our car industry. You know, there are people in this country who love to talk down our manufacturing. They say we don't make anything important anymore. But that's not Britain. Well, I would invite any of those people to come here and see what you do in this factory. Anyone who's talking down manufacturing, I'd say come here to JLR and see what you're doing. And they wouldn't say it again. Because just as I've said, when we were going around earlier, what I saw made me proud, and I hope if I feel proud
He's lying.
of what you're doing, you are entitled to feel proud of what you are doing. This is British brilliance in the flesh.
I don't feel
You're
it,
making cars here,
personally.
but you're also representing our country with each car as it departs. That's the problem.
Well,
that always goes.
you're just
I've said it many times before.
running into a brick wall, so I'm going to say, Prime Minister Keir
He
Starmer.
was an engineer. He made things with his hands. And he taught me as I was growing
So did
up,
my dad.
You should value the things that we make. And that is what's brilliant about manufacturing. And manufacturing shapes the identity of a place, this place, and of a community, and of a country. And that's how it gets...
He's smarter than you, my dad is.
which is why electric vehicles are so important. Yes, of course, it's about the climate. And you won't hear me undermining the urgency of that cause.
These electric
But
cars,
it's also about taking the
hydroelectric
pride,
cars, are not designed for the
the
road
identity
structure in
of
the UK.
places like
This is not the
and
solution.
securing it for the future. That's what previous governments never understood, the link between manufacturing and who we are as a country. But those days are over. They are finished. This is a government of industrial renewal. Because my choice in this volatile
I think the solution is go back to
is
fracking,
back British brilliance.
personally.
I believe that British
Can't rely on
cars
anything from
should
anyone
be at the
abroad these
forefront
days.
of the electric revolution. This is the race that we belong in. And so I think EV targets are a good thing. They're good for the climate, good for business certainty and investment, good for British manufacturing. But I accept those targets have to work for British manufacturers. And I don't want British firms like this one put in a position where you have to pay a hefty fine or buy credits from foreign EV companies. So today we're going to introduce much more flexibility into EV mandates. We're going to help car companies.
There's more people going on pit benefits every day.
reach the targets in a way that supports.
Something not right with you, like
Cut
the Labour
down
Party
any
in
fines,
charge.
which I don't want or
Something not
expect to
right.
see, by 20%, and any money that's raised will be invested directly back into support for the British car industry. We're also going to take action on hybrids, because these cars make a massive difference to reducing emissions. I mean, if you
They're
drive
damaging the
close
road
to
structure on the
you
roads.
work
They're
here,
too heavy for the
on a
roads.
Range Rover,
That's
you
why there's more
can spend a
potholes on the
lot of
roads,
time
you prick.
in electric mode. So I think for these vehicles, a 2030 ban is too soon. So we'll push that back to 2035 for all hybrids.
Okay.
That's a new step that we're taking, a new announcement today. And because we're not ideological about how we cut carbon emissions, we're also going to make sure that cleaner, efficient petrol cars sold before 2030 count towards.
Why don't you target the airline industry on this? Why are you going for the car industry?
Like this one here. As Rachel has said,
Why expand Heathrow Airport? Why aren't you targeting the airports for more better fuel efficiency and environmentally friendly petrol free? They pollute ponds. They put pollution in people's ponds and lakes and rivers around London City every day.
that's a massive factor when people are thinking about switching. And our approach means we're seeing a new public charging point popping up every half an hour.
Hey, there's electric cars, let alone the Tesla, can do 100 miles.
And charge up
They have
the
to charge
electric
up for 40 minutes.
British
They're
electric
rubbish.
running off
40
clean
minutes, that's like a
made
lifetime.
by British
Wait to go
workers.
from the petrol station.
British cars for British workers.
No.
And as you know, and by the way, switching to electric can also save you up to £1,100 a year.
Yeah,
If
well,
you get this right, it can help with the cost
we know
of
that
living
electric
as
cars are rubbish. A Tesla could do 100 miles if it goes at a moderate speed, but if it goes 50 miles, if it goes over 100 miles per hour, it will only cut 50 miles.
Industrial policy.
Because I've spoke to the police force about the Tesla police cars and they said they're rubbish.
Take out a life
So you should be
sciences
shame on you for what you're saying.
section. Another shining example of British brilliance. Absolutely pivotal part of our export economy. But we're going to back them as
The
well.
footsi 100 on the right in New
We're going
York.
to rip up the red
Look at that. It's not good.
cut the stifling bureaucracy.
It's going lower and lower
that
as he
slows
talks.
down clinical trials. Now, Britain used to be so much better than this, but we've taken our foot off the pedal.
Right, thumbs up the right side
The
screen.
latest data says it
Please
takes
subscribe
over
to the channel on
250
Signage Evans.
days
I think we've seen enough of this bloke. He's just an idiot. Bye for anyone who's subscribed to the channel on Signage.